Let's rant a little bit about Big Noon Kickoff. I've got some takes here, and I'm excited for Cole's too. But being the Big Ten guy, Tom, the floor is yours.
As the Big Ten guy,
let's hear it.
And also, I spent 9 years working with WWE, and at one point had an overlapping relationship with people at Fox and Fox Sports. So I understand how all of this has been constructed from a business standpoint. It makes way too much sense. They set up Big Noon Kickoff, and then they have the game that they've been talking about for 2-3 hours occur at noon. It rolls right into it. It's standard television practice. It makes all the sense in the world. I believe this deal with the Big Ten runs through 2030 with Fox and Big Noon Kickoff. So we get that out of the way at first. And shout out to Rob Stone, who's a friend, and I know plenty of people that work there. As a fan and a Penn State fan on top of that, Big Noon, I'm not a fan because it takes the time of the game away. From the time I started playing football when I was in middle school through the time that I just stopped in high school because I got hurt all the time, the consensus among anybody who's ever played the sport, a night game just feels different. It feels better. It feels bigger. It feels important. We've said for decades that the night game, the primetime game, is the game to see. Now, ESPN and College Game Day still pretty much consider that model and do things that same way. And they have had that issue, but Game Day is a much larger brand than Big Noon Kickoff. So they don't have that problem. They can still put on a huge show in the morning and then give you a killer game at night. Nobody's really that upset about it. They do what they do. This kills like Penn State, for instance. It kills the whiteout. It kills the entire semblance of it. And then it goes to like the second or third best home game on the schedule. It just doesn't mean as much. The whole point was to do it against the best opponent possible. For me, the first one that got announced was Texas at Ohio State in week 1, Arch Manning's first game as the full-fledged starter for the Texas Longhorns in 2025, going up against maybe Julian Sayin as the starting quarterback for Ohio State, reigning national champions, like 1 billion story points. And it's going to be at noon. Wouldn't this just be bigger if it was at 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. or whatever the hell you're going to do? This is one of the things that the business of college football has altered and changed. The heart of it has changed, the way it feels, like all those things that you can't really put a dollar amount on. It's changed. But I completely understand the business. If I worked at Fox Sports, I'd do the exact same thing. But as a fan, I don't love it.
In a standpoint of this being the standalone game for Fox, and really that opening early window when FSU and Alabama is going to be the midday game, and then you have to throw in the matchup between LSU and Clemson as the night game on ESPN. This is a way to guarantee that you are the primetime matchup and that ratings will go through the roof, which I completely understand from a business perspective. Mm-hmm. I don't care about the business side when looking at this from a fan perspective. I care about this looking at it from a what is the best course of action for this to raise the stakes, up the intensity, and make sure that this is a whole day charade. The game ends at 3:30. That means that I have to live for the rest of the evening with the results of what we watched. That means I can either drink my sorrows away or I can go celebrate. But at the same time, part of the ambiance of being part of the world of college football is the tailgating. It's the prep leading up to the game. It's the matchups. It's hearing the conversations and the dialogue between multiple sports shows. It's being able to have the shit-talking moments with certain people that are on either sidelines. It's going throughout the travel experiences. Now, if you are going to this game, and a game that I believe could have massive college football playoff implications for seeding purposes, I still believe that Texas and Ohio State right now are both going to go to the dozen dance. Like, I'm fully invested that these two teams, the outcome of this game will not deteriorate their pathway to the postseason. I don't think that. But it could have major implications for where they end up going in their pathway to a national championship. You have to wake up at 5 a.m. just to get the entire shindig of what a full day atmosphere is like in these matchups. And when I look at it from a fan's perspective, there is probably nothing better than watching the sun go down at the shoe as the Longhorns take the field, and then they have to hear the thunderous uproar of Ohio State's band dot the I, and then the Buckeyes, defending national champions, take the field. And the other part of this that is just so infuriating to me is that Ohio State is the national champions. Ohio State regardless of who was their competition, especially when it's a primetime matchup, should get the opportunity to pick when they want to take the field. Not get told, oh, you have to be the 11 o'clock game because of Fox is saying that this is going to do great for numbers. If they want to go ahead and close out the night and be the 8 o'clock kickoff, guess what? They won the title. They get to have a little bit of bragging rights. They get to say, no. We're going to pick when we welcome in the 2025 season, especially against a team that we beat to get to the national championship. And to a lot of us, it felt like that game was better than what the national championship ended up becoming. So I hate it from that perspective. I get it from a ratings perspective. I get it from the fact that Fox wants to put as many eyeballs on the television screens. But spare me that this is good for the sport. What this is good for is the revenue and the pockets of those who are writing the checks to make sure that Fox Big Noon is going to still be a huge staple in the world of college football.
It is going to do gangbuster numbers, ratings, all that sort of stuff, because a million storylines going into this thing.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that sucks, man, is that like we sit here, it's bad for the sport. As a fan, we don't like it. We're all still going to tune in.
Yeah. It's like the
Still gonna watch it. I'm not happy about it, but
the dumbest argument I hear from people all the time, especially those that work in the sport. How dare they have the national championship on a Monday? Okay, don't watch. Oh, wait, you're still going to watch the game? Okay, then you're just complaining about something that's not going to change. You want to know when it changes? When the ratings drop to record lows because fans don't want to watch a game that is meant for Saturday on a Monday night. Until then, it's still going to be on a Monday, so you might as well embrace what is the current status of college football.
So maybe I'm a loser for this take. I agree that it sucks for the fans of the programs that have to play in it. I think it's good for the rest of college football fans. I think the rest of college football fans like the fact that hopefully the middle game is competitive, but I think the rest of college football fans like the fact that they get an absolute killer matchup in the noon window, the Alabama-Florida State game at 3:30, and then Clemson-LSU at night. Like, I think that the rest of the college football world can sympathize with the Ohio State and the Texas fans that are going to that game. But I think the rest of the world enjoys the fact, and I think that college football has become, unfortunately, more about the TV experience than the in-person experience, right? The 100,000 fans that are going to the game versus the 12 to 15 to 18 that are going to watch it on TV or more, right? 18 million. And so I do feel the sympathy for the fans there at the game, but I understand not catering to the 100,000 to do what's best for the 15 to 20 million. Maybe that makes me a loser of a take. I don't know. I'm just trying to have some thought about it, but I like it because if as much as I don't want to watch Florida State, Alabama in some respects, I wouldn't watch Texas, Ohio State at all if it was at 3:30, right? And then I want to watch LSU Clemson as well, but I wouldn't watch that at all if Texas, Ohio State was at night, right? And so as a fan that's sitting on the couch watching, which I'll actually be in Tallahassee for it, but as a fan that is watching all day, I like having a good game in every window. I understand the complaint if you're a fan that is going to the games. I would be supremely pissed off if Florida State, Alabama was at noon. That's a terrible experience. I would hate that. But I do understand why they're catering to the millions, not the 100,000 that are there at the game. Does that make it right? No. Do I wish it would change? No. If I'm at home, would I, any other week, would I rather see Ohio State in prime time for their big games? Yes. In this specific scenario, I don't hate it as much. I like getting a good game in every window and not just the noon window being a snooze, right? So I don't know. Maybe that's a bad take. Maybe it's not, but
I'll tell you what, as a Penn State fan, again, not to be a total homer, if they make Penn State versus Oregon this year a big noon kickoff, which is far and away Penn State's biggest home game, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Penn State fans will be furious. They'll still tune in. They'll still go to the game, but Penn State fans are continuing to be pissed off about it. And the program, it's not just the fans, like the program is legitimately like, dude, we started doing this thing to create a spectacle and a home field advantage, and you've completely taken it away from us. So like the question's been put out there. I was like, why are we still doing this anymore? because it doesn't mean anything to do it against like the third or fourth best team on your home schedule within the Big Ten. Like, it's just silly.
I don't disagree with you, TJ, on one thing. It does do wonders for the rest of college football, but just spare me on this part. If you switch it with Florida State and Alabama, that becomes the 11 a.m. kick. It's brutal weather. It's disgusting for both of these teams out in Tallahassee. But that becomes the first game. The middle game is Texas versus Ohio State. And then you close out with Clemson versus LSU. Nobody's complaining. Like I would say probably that 1%er is complaining that they're not the primetime game on Saturday afternoon. That'd be it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're Tony Petitti, like, you're the one that signed the deal with these networks. Like, I mean, does he have the power to change this or no?
Not for a while. I think not until 2030, if I'm correct.
Well,
but again, like
to change the window.
Change the window?
Yeah, to work on the window. When Oregon, doesn't Oregon have a pretty big game? Who's Oregon's big game out there?
Well, they have Indiana at one point this year. So
yeah, I guess they don't have a huge one there in 2025. I mean, they're not going to get the noon window because they're not going to start a game out there at 9 a.m., right? So
Can they please, just to make it fair at this point, and people understand that it's dumb to have a Pac-12 team in the Big Ten?
Yes, it is. It is very dumb. But I don't know. I get it. I would hate it too if I was a fan of those teams. I don't hate it getting to watch good football. So it's hard to... But I understand both sides.